Hello friends, this is Jim with Science Talk. I have a report from the realm of paleontology. It's kind of an interesting one. Paleontologists discover a new sauropod species in Argentina. A team of Spanish and Argentine paleontologists have discovered the remains of a dinosaur that lived 110 million years ago in the center of the country. The National University of La Matanza revealed recently. The remains come from three separate dinosaurs from the herbivorous group of sauropods. Sauropods are probably best known as Diplodocus, and I guess now it's back to being Brontosaurus. There was a while where they thought they had the wrong skull and the wrong body, whatever, and they said, oh, Brontosaurus isn't Brontosaurus, we'll rename it Apatosaurus. Well, I guess some new recent research basically said, well, it's Brontosaurus. So Brontosaurus, Apatosaurus, but you know, you get the idea. Some very big, huge quadrupeds with long necks and tails. Some of the largest animals to walk the planet. And the new species that has been discovered has been given the scientific name of Lavocatosaurus agrioensis. Okay. So, Professor Jose Luis Caballero, who is a researcher at the Egidio Ferrugio Museum and the National Council of Scientific Investigations, stated the following. We found most of the cranial bones. That's significant. Usually skull bones tend to not be found. We found most of the cranial bones, the snout, the jaws, lots of teeth, also the bones that define the eye sockets. And so in that way, they were able to create a nearly complete reconstruction. Parts of the neck, tail, and back were also found. The professor goes on to say, not only is this the discovery of a new species in an area where you wouldn't expect to find fossils, but the skull is almost complete. That's a bonus right there. Finding a complete skull. The remains belong to an adult of around 12 meters, which is approximately 39 feet or 40 feet or so in length, and two juveniles that were about 6 to 7 meters, basically 18 to 22, 23 feet or so. The paleontologists say that the dinosaurs moved as a group and they died together. The study's lead author, Jose Ignacio Canudo of Zaragoza University, says this discovery of an adult and two juveniles also signifies the first record of a group displacement among the Rabachosaurus dinosaurs, basically referring to a type of sauropod dinosaur. The area in which the fossils were found is unusual for dinosaurs, as it would have been a desert with sporadic lakes in that era. Now, that's a questionable statement, and here's why I say that. Plate tectonics. If you go back, it was 110 million years ago. Where was Argentina, where specifically these fossils were found? Where was Argentina specifically located? What latitude? Also, you have the oceans are different. Is it landlocked? Was it close to the ocean? So what I'm trying to get at is that the ecosystem might have been markedly different, and different enough so that perhaps they were walking through a savanna as opposed to a desert. Might have been semi-arid, but if they're walking through a savanna and you have intermittent trees, well, the trees are where they can get their food supply. Now, if it was a desert that they were found in, then perhaps they were migrating through. But still, the question becomes, where do they get the energy needs? And if this was a desert and not a different ecosystem, was it a flash flood? Because typically some sort of catastrophic event is usually what allows for mass deposition of bodies to be fossilized. So, for example, there's been evidence of various flash floods killing a whole bunch of mammals, and we find all their bones. We have the La Brea tar pits, which was the result of animals getting stuck in sticky stuff. But still, usually some sort of natural disaster is the result to have mass deposition. Simply an animal dying, then another animal dying, and another animal dying, all in the same location at the same time from natural causes is highly unlikely. So probably like some sort of event took them all out at the same time. Now, sauropods, as I just mentioned, some of the largest creatures on the planet. They were able to get up to 33, 34 meters in length. That's basically pushing 100 feet. And that would be, for example, Supersaurus. And then don't forget, some years ago, Argentinosaurus was discovered, and they estimated that thing would weigh 120 tons. I hate to think what its daily food requirement was. Now, these huge sauropods tended to persist during the Jurassic era of the Mesozoic. The Jurassic was the middle. You had first the opening. You had, for the Mesozoic, you had the Triassic, which is some 200 million years ago, and then you had the Jurassic, and then you had the Cretaceous. And the Cretaceous is where we see the creatures like the T-Rex and the Triceratops and those kind of specimens. So in Jurassic Park, the movies, they always featured a T-Rex skull or a Velociraptor skull. Not quite accurate, considering those guys were notably during the Cretaceous. Now, if they stuck a Diplodocus skull as the icon, that would have been more accurate. So, and they were, to be fair, they were sauropods in the movie. So, be that as it may, it probably would have been better, more accurate to call it Mesozoic Park. But that probably doesn't sound as nice. So, this new species, like typical sauropods, had very long necks, very long tails, massive bodies, big, huge factory basically to process all the vegetative matter they were consuming, and they had small heads. So it's an interesting things like how you have a small head. It must have been all the nerves have to be to operate the blood vessels and the digestion. So this discovery has been published in the scientific journal Acta Paleontologica Polonica. And it is a surprise, and the paleontologists will be have lots of things to study and learn. So I just wanted to bring you this report of new finds in the realm of paleontology. Like everything else, it's always fascinating. It's always great to learn new things and discover new things. Thank you for your time. We'll talk soon. Hello folks, this is Jim asking for your help. I want to grow this channel significantly. I want to increase the number of people who subscribe to my channel. I want to increase the number of people who are supporting patrons on Patreon for this channel. Patreon.com/Science Talk with Jim Massa. I do not receive funding of any sort from anyone. So the information I share with you is the information as found published in the peer-reviewed journals. No propaganda, no BS, just the science, and of course I give you my interpretations and analyses based on my experience as a scientist. So please tell others of the work I do here, tell others of my channel. Share my videos, post them on other social media platforms. But we need to disseminate this information to more and more people, to a wider audience. And I need your help in doing that. For those of you who are already patrons and support me on Patreon, thank you. Thank you for your support and continued support. Together we can do this. So you'll find details in the description box below how to support me on Patreon. And thank you. Thank you for your help. Thank you for your continued support. It does mean a lot to me. We can do this.